Hey everyone, Logan here. I recently got back from the Pack Room Study Abroad with Oklahoma Christian about a month and a half ago, maybe a little bit more. And I'm still getting a lot of people asking me, how was China or Japan, New Zealand, Australia, and Hawaii, all those things. So I'm gonna make, just a little video for each country, just kind of describing what I thought of each and kind of what we experienced. I'm going to start with actually China for today. Being the first place we traveled, we got in there after a 14-hour flight from Seattle to Hong Kong. Yeah, not fun. Needs to say, I actually didn't sleep during that flight. wasn't wasn't good. Wasn't good. But when we actually got into Beijing, it was this, ultra modern looking airport with all these glass windows, and we were picked up and taken to Capital Normal University. A teaching university, and is actually where we stayed. As we were driving, to be completely honest, didn't look any different than any other major city you would look at. Even with it being in other languages, because you can go to certain parts of Dallas or Fort Worth or other cities in the U.S. and it looks totally foreign in some aspects of it with the language, but it still looked very modern. We checked in, and our mattresses that we slept on while we were there were about that thick. Yeah, needless to say, a lot of us had back problems. Our very next, actually, we got in and it was about 12 or a little bit afterwards. So we went to go out to find something to eat, and the nearest thing was a little noodle cart. So we tried to order, with only knowing two words, "谢谢," which is thank you, and "你好吗," or good morning, hello. Uh, and after we ordered everything, which we're still not really sure what all we ordered onto it, we just started pointing to stuff. The lady kept holding this up. We tried to figure out what it was, so we just pulled out our money, and a little kid just like picked out a 5 and 1, so it means 6. So basically, it goes 1 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 changes. Sometimes I saw it here, sometimes I saw this, and then 9, and then 10, or 10. Once again, this one is kind of odd. It can be 1 or 10. You just have to be used to it. From there, the first day we went to Tiananmen Square, which is a lot larger than I thought it would be, but it had a lot of, monument to the people's heroes, the People's Congress, and things of that sort. And I was unusually clean. And then right across from it was the Forbidden City with, the famous picture of Chairman Mao, which every time I took a picture of him, it still said there was a blink detected. So basically, Chairman Mao is always watching. Even when he's dead, he's watching you. And we went into the Forbidden City, which once again was massive. I had no idea they could have built on that large of a scale so early on. But not only was it massive, but it was elaborate and ornate in a lot of the stuff. Ended up doing a kung fu form there, dragon, because dragons were synonymous with the emperors. So I decided to do dragon kung fu form there. The next couple days we went around for a while to other major sites, but probably the most interesting portions were in Beijing, apart from the sites themselves, were, oh yes, the street foods. They told us the first day we actually had lecture there not to eat the street food. Of course, we already had by that point. But as long as you see it cooked in front of you, we kind of find that it was okay. As long as they didn't use, like put lettuce onto it afterwards, you're typically okay. There was this one taco guy that we ate a lot, and the first time I had it, it made me pretty sick actually. But the more I had it, the less it made me sick, so I kind of built up an intolerance to it. But we also ate a lot of dim sum because it was so cheap and it would fill you up in the morning. Dim sum's like little dumplings filled with meat about, that big, about the size of my mouth. Maybe an eyeball, like an eye socket. I don't know. I'm getting too far into detail. From there, we moved into Xi'an to go see the Terracotta Warriors, which was on a really massive scale, but I was not that impressed with it. Being that, while there were small differences in between each one, they weren't, like drastically different, and it was just, clay warriors. I mean, I could have gotten the scope and what they look like from pictures, which, I mean, it was interesting to actually be able to go there, but spending, 3, 4 hours of your life there when you're in China was a little bit boring. Um, but even more interesting was when we flew into Xi'an was during the dispute between Japan and China. So there were violent protests outside of our hotels. So they called in hundreds of military officers to, quell the, not rebels, but protesters, and to cordon off our entire area. And also during this point was when that anti-Muslim or Islam movie came out by an American. So, of course, with our luck, we were in the Muslim district. So we had both things working against us. But then we went to the farmer's village in Xi'an, which wasn't really as much of a village like what we thought it was. It was still, looked like a regular city. But we ate far too much there, far too much. We ended up taking turns on who had to suffer after that meal by eating more. From there, went to Hong Kong. Hong Kong was pretty nice. I liked Hong Kong. Still very modern. More people spoke English there. And we met quite a few interesting people. Stayed at a really nice YMCA actually there. What was difficult was that Dr. Adams had thought that the octopus card could be used on a lot of, which is their, pass-all card for transportation and food. I'm using a lot of quotation marks today. I'm not sure why. Sorry. But really, it was only good for McDonald's. So most of us had McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. Which was not good, saying that, you could walk outside there and it was so humid and hot, you could walk outside and be like a swimming pool. It was. Some people hated it. I didn't mind it too much. One of the nights we went on this fantastic like little bay cruise with a light show that they have on there, which is the biggest light show put on by a city in the world. Really good. If you have the chance, take that. Star Ferry is what it's called. Did a couple Tai Chi classes, some Kung Fu classes while I was there, but nothing too intense. Well, that's the main parts of China that I want to discuss and just tell you my overall general view, which was it was good and interesting, and I can now say I've been to China, but it's not just a place I'm like, oh boy, I want to go back to China over every place else. It's a fun place, but not my favorite place. Okay, well, catch you on the flip side.